we go. All right. Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you don't know what it is that I do. Let me tell you a little bit about it. I am a love coach specifically for women who are at this moment staying after infidelity. You have your reasons, all right? Chances are the reason is because you really love this person, you really care about this person, you did not think this was going to be the end of your story. And I'm here to tell you that you're absolutely right. This does not have to be the end of your story. This does not have to be the end of your love story. You can get to happily ever after. And I am here to talk to you about how to do that, all right? I need you to know that there are so many things that will affect you in this decision. You're going to feel uncertain about it. You're going to feel like you're not doing the right things. But if you can start doing the things that I'm talking to you about, telling you about, in order to start to heal some of this trauma that has happened to you, you're going to feel real clear about your direction. You are going to feel good about staying. You're going to feel like, okay, I'm doing something and I know this is what I want to do and it's working. It is working well for me. I want you to have all of the clues that you can to be able to get out of the dark woods and get to your happy ending, okay? You are the princess. You've been cursed. Guess what? I've got the answer to the curse. I know how to get you uncursed. So come along with me for a little stroll down the healing path out of the dark, dark woods, all right? So let me make sure I can see everything. I think I can. Refresh. So I always talk to you about this because what you have been through is a trauma, and you have to start treating the trauma to be able to get past this. You're not going to be able to get past this. You're not going to be able to get to a better place, be forgiving, be happy, be understanding, be trusting again if you're not going to do anything about the trauma that has happened to you. It is automatic. Our bodies and our brains do these things when we feel like we're in danger. The part of your brain that controls this, it's called the amygdala. It's a little teeny piece of your brain about the size of a grape that regulates the worst case scenario. It's going to tell you the worst possible thing that could happen because previous knowledge has said that this is the worst thing that can happen. You could be hurt. This part of our brain developed when the worst case scenario was getting eaten. That was what the worst case scenario was when we first developed this part of our brain. When we got this, you could walk outside the cave and get eaten by a tiger, and okay, that was just the end. You had to be able to imagine that horror, that pain, and so your brain came up with a way to give you that image to make you think, oh look, this is the thing that could be dangerous. Watch out. All right. Now we don't have to worry about life and death situations so much. So our brain switched it around and was like, okay, well, emotional pain, that's life or death now. We're just going to believe that that's the worst thing in the world, that we could be hurt emotionally, and we're going to take it like that. So we're going to set off all of the alarms for emotional pain, which kind of our body to do. Worried about us, trying to make sure that we're okay, trying to take care of us. I appreciate the effort, but seriously, it's gonna have you stressed out. All right. You're gonna be stressed because you're constantly gonna be anticipating something bad happening to you because you're constantly listening for the trauma to tell you that something bad is going to happen to you. So we can't live like that. If you want a happy, healthy, productive relationship, you can't live like that. You can live like that. You can sit there and be just as stressed as you want to be. You can keep this on your heart. You can carry this baggage for as long as you choose to. You can do that. I am just saying that that's not any fun. I'm saying that that is not going to be conducive to, I want a real healthy relationship. You can't be consistently dragging around this trauma, this baggage that you got, and have a healthy relationship. It is going to cause you not to. You are going to react in ways that are about the trauma and not about love and connection. And so you're not going to get the relationship that you want. I'm here to tell you how to get the relationship that you actually want, the one that you're not constantly worried. You're not constantly thinking about who is he talking to. if he's talking to this other woman, is she more special than me? We're going to get rid of all of those doubts by working on the trauma from within. We can do that. We can start arguing with our brains and not letting them just say awful things to us all the time. Then we are going to feel better about ourselves, and then we're going to feel better about the relationship. All right? Make sense? All right. So, first thing I always want to remind you is I have a guide. It is the Dreams Formula Guide to Healing and Reconciling. Okay. It is called How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity in Instagram. You can put in Path, PATH, and it will send you the link, or you can just go to my link tree. It's the first link on the link tree. If you are in my Facebook group, my Love After Cheating group, go ahead on up to the pinned post. It is right there, How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity. And it gives you the rundown of the Dreams Formula. From where I'm standing, from my own personal experience and from the experience that I've had coaching hundreds of women over the last years, I am telling you, this is the path out of the woods. The Dreams Formula will do it. It will get you out of the woods. Even if you don't work with me, even if you are doing this all by yourself, you just decided that you're not going to spend any kind of money to try and heal this infidelity trauma, you can get out of it with this guy. Okay? Just follow along. Remember what it's telling you. Keep going back and doing the same things over and over again. That's the way I did it. When I actually healed, I took each one of these things and I had to learn the lesson and I had to do it over and over and over again in practice. And then, okay, I moved to the next thing and I got to remember to juggle the first thing with the second thing. But it's not terribly difficult once you got the first thing down. So you just keep on going like that, follow the path. The Dreams Formula is decide. That's the D. You've got to make up your mind that you want to heal. You do not want this to be a thing for the rest of your life. You don't want to carry this baggage forever. You are making that choice for yourself. You can do that. Just because you were hurt, just because you were traumatized, does not mean you have to carry it with you forever and ever for always. That is absolutely unnecessary and not required of you. Okay. The R is for recognizing and then overcoming the fear speech that is going on inside your brain and all the fear that you get from other people, right? When you go to talk to somebody about this, you get a lot of fear back to you from them. It gets reflected back, and your fear reflects back on theirs, and it amplifies, gets louder. The anxiety starts screaming because it's like, see, she said that it's dangerous too. And that's because she's probably had the exact same trauma response that you have. And so, yes, it's going to sound alike because she has had the same experience. Yeah, your brain is going to tell you that you are in a dangerous situation, but you're going to be in a lot of dangerous situations in life. That does not mean don't do the thing. If you are taking a risk for your life, for your happiness, just because it's scary doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the thing. What we want a lot of the time is on the other side of fear. When you push through the fear, meet that resistance, and then continue and push on through. Most of the time, what you want is on the other side of that fear. It was just your body trying to keep you away from something else that could possibly hurt you. But that keeps you from what you want too. So we've got to start recognizing that fear in our brains and the fear that other people are feeding us about this trauma. E is for evaluating the why. All right. This is the first part where we're actually dealing with our partner's issue in this. And the main thing about this is you want to know why he did this. That is a trauma response your brain automatically does. However, if you can switch your brain around from, I need to know why he did this so this never happens to me again, to I need to know why he did this so that I can have compassion for his terrible pain that caused him to do something this stupid. Because you're going to have that. You're going to have a little compassion for him for being an idiot if you're going to ever forgive him for this. Like that's almost required. You have to have a little bit of compassion, a little bit of, okay, you must have been in a really painful place for you to feel like this was a good idea. All right. A is for allowing that healing to happen. You've made up your mind. You face the fears about it. You know why it happened. You now have to actually act like a healed person. You cannot continue to move forward and continue to act like a wounded person. You will continue to carry the wound. It will continue to be with you. If you move forward and you start acting like a person who is healed, who would you be once you're all healed up? Everything is lovely and wonderful between the two of you. Be that person. Be that person, and see, doesn't it actually come true when you allow yourself to heal and you show the actions of healing? That is what you get, is healed. Okay. Then M is for managing the future feelings. You are going to have triggers, okay? You are going to encounter them some of the time, all right? I actually have a trigger tracker that I have been working on. You all let me know. You get in the comments, put in trigger in the comments if you want me to send you the link to my trigger tracker. But I want you to be able to have this at hand so you know exactly what you need to do. The thing about triggers is they are sensory. They are things that you hear, smell, taste, touch, feel, that are reminders of when the trauma happened to you. So it's reminders that happen physically of pain that happened emotionally. All right. We have got to start figuring out what those triggers are, how our bodies feel when we are triggered, and then what we're going to do about that trigger when they happen. We cannot figure out what we're going to do about the trigger in the moment when we're triggered. That's not going to help at all. We're not going to be able to figure out what to do because at that point you were overloaded. Things are going kind of haywire. You're not able to make your best plan then. But if you go ahead, get my trigger tracker, and let me know. Give me some feedback on it. Let me know exactly how well it works for you. But what we got is the date, the time. We got what triggered me. All right. A little bit about the situation. You can write that down. Then, how did my body feel? That is how you're going to figure out that you are triggered most of the time. Because if your body feels that way that it feels when it's triggered, you're probably triggered. Okay. So if you can figure out what that feeling is inside your body at the time, you will know when you're triggered even before your brain can consciously figure it out. Then after the bodily feeling, then your brain comes into to account. What is coming to mind? What thoughts are coming to mind? And then after that, what emotions are linked to those thoughts? A lot of the time, it's going to be fear. A lot of the time, it's going to be anger. All right. We are dealing with those type of emotions as we are dealing with this trauma. A lot of the time, it's going to bubble to the surface as anger or fear. Um, what was my initial reaction? What did I think to go and do? What was I about to go do to soothe this trigger that I recognize was probably not the best idea? Your initial response when you are triggered is all about the automatic trauma response inside your body. You're not in control of that initial response. So I want you to start noting what that initial response actually is and how different it is from what you actually do outwardly to show that you are in control of yourself with the trigger. What do you do outwardly instead of the first initial thing that you were thinking of? And then what did you really need? What did you really need at the time that this trigger was happening? Did you need a hug? Did you need some space? Did you need some quiet? Did you need a nap? Did you need some sex? Like, you are needing something if you are triggered. Your body is trying to tell you an area where you are not feeling healed and you're needing something. You got to figure that out. All right. And then the rest of the tracker is the plan for next time. It's going to be five things. If this happens again, I can. Always start with your deep breathing and your journaling. Always start with that. But if it was I needed some sex, I'm like, okay, I'm going to verbalize that. I'm going to say, hey, I need some like physical affection and I need some sex. Or I need a little bit of quiet. I'm going to go sit down. I'm not trying to fight with you. I just need to go hold on to myself for a minute and I'll be back. Or I needed a hug. It could be anything, but write those things down so that the next time this particular trigger happens, you'll know what to do. All right. So put it in the comments if you'd like my trigger tracker. Go ahead and let me know. I got you. I have all the good stuff for you. All right. All right, let's see. After the M, figuring out those triggers and figuring out what your plan is going to be, there's the S, which is seeking support. You need some support for this, okay? There was like one friend who was like, okay, all right, he cheated. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but you don't seem to be going anywhere. You seem to want to be with him. And I was like, yeah, I do. I love him. I really want to be with him. And she was like, okay, then be with him. I don't understand where we're having a problem here, but just be with him. And I was like, that was the first person who had backed me up and said, you can just do that. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I could just go ahead and be with him anyway. But then what do I do? She was like, you go ahead and be happy in the relationship that you wanted to be in. And okay, yes, this has happened. You go forward and you act like everything is going to be okay. This is not going to continue to happen. It's not going to be a thing for the rest of our lives. I'm going to forgive you. We're going to move on. And I was like, I didn't even think of that as a thing. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I love him. I love me some him. Okay. I knew he was my person. I did not want to go ahead and let go. But honestly, first person I ever said that. But I only had like one person to say that. If you join with me, you'll have me constantly in your ear to be able to tell you that, to remind you that you're not making any bad decisions for yourself. You are choosing the life that you wanted to live. So if you're choosing that, then there's nothing wrong with it. All right. Let's see. So if you need the support, I am here for you for the support. If you are trying to get out of the woods and you need the dreams formula to get you out of the woods, put a little tree in the comments. I will get back to you. I'll message you back and send you the link for the how to heal and reconcile after infidelity guide. Okay. All right, so let's get to the good stuff. First things first is all the things that I normally tell you before we talk. All right, we have to recognize that this is a trauma that has happened, and so then we need to start treating this like a trauma that has happened. So we've got to start doing some things that are going to start mitigating the effects of this trauma now, ASAP. The sooner the better, because the longer your brain stays like this, the longer it's going to stay like this. Okay, it's much, much harder to stop it from doing this stuff 3, 4, 5 years long down the line. Okay. Um, First things first, we got to do our deep breathing. Come on with me and do the deep breathing. What we do is we do 4, 7, 8 breathing. That you can do whichever kind of breathing you like on your own. But together we tend to do 4, 7, 8 breathing is the one that I like. All right. What we're going to do is blow out. When you are stressed out in this way, you actually increase the carbon dioxide in your lungs. So blowing out gets rid of excess carbon dioxide, automatically soothes your brain, automatically tells your brain that actually I am safe. Things are actually okay. That carbon dioxide level has come down. I'm getting some oxygen. I'm actually safe. I thought I was in danger, but I'm not. All right. Blowing out completely, make the noise, make the sound of that whooshing of the breath coming out. Then you're going to inhale for a count of 4. Hold that breath in for a count of 7 so that your body can actually use that oxygen that you just breathed in. And you're not hyperventilating and blowing it right back out, panting. And then we're going to blow out for a count of 8. Again, like we're blowing out a whole cake full of birthday candles. Make the noise of blowing out for a count of 8. All right. And we are going to do that together. It is going to be around a 3, but I want you to do this 5 times a day as you're doing it. Okay. Set an alarm in your phone. We just went through that in the After Infidelity Mastermind group that I have going right now. Everybody put in the phone the times of the day when they were going to be doing their deep breathing. And so now all day it is a reminder. Okay, hey, it's time to do deep breathing number 1, deep breathing number 2. Are you halfway through? We're at number 3, 4, 5. Do it all throughout the day, and then you are constantly telling your body that you are safe and you do not need the anxiety and traumatic reaction right now. You are good. Everything's all right. You are safe. All right. All right. So we're going to do our deep breathing. First things first, we're going to blow out. four, hold, two, three, four, five, six, seven, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Again, inhale, two, three, four, hold it, two, three, four, five, six, seven, relax, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Last time, inhale, two, three, four, hold it, two, three, four, five, six, seven, relax, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and eight. Beautiful. How do you feel when you do your deep breathing? Let me know. Put it in the comments. How does it make your body feel? It should help when you are in that state, when you are just traumatized and your body is just reacting and you're not regulated. Your body is doing that real shallow sipping of the air. When you slow down and fully exhale and fully inhale, you send a message into your body that you do not need the adrenaline. You're not fighting. You're not running. You're not freezing. You are safe. Everything is fine. You consistently tell your body that message, and eventually your body listens to you. Eventually, your body is like, oh, okay, she said we're safe. She keeps doing the deep breathing. She seems like she's calm. I guess we're okay. And it'll eventually start to believe you instead of that automatic triggered response that happens after a trauma. Okay. We got to get back in control to the point where our bodies are listening to us, not to the automatic thing that happens. All right. All right. Second thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together, I need you to be doing your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? I need you to jump on that. First thing in the morning, right before bed, about 5 minutes. Commit to just that. If you want to write later on during the day, in the afternoon, you got something on your mind, something in particular you might want to say to him, but you haven't quite formed it yet. Something that's a repeating thought in your brain, you just want to put it down. You can use it any other time during the day, but I want you to commit to first thing in the morning, 5 minutes, right before you go to bed, 5 minutes. Commit to that self-care time. Just a little bit of, I'm caring about me and my feelings right now. Why shouldn't you do that? Why shouldn't you have that twice a day? And well, it's about 7 times a day with the deep breathing, but still, either way, that's a very few amount of times for a 24-hour period. Okay. So we have got to start taking care of ourselves. And this is a very simple way to do it. When you are going through a trauma, it helps to journal. It helps to put down the feelings that you're feeling. The first thing in the morning, the stuff that bubbles to the front of your brain as soon as you wake up, that needs to go down in the journal. If it's something that troubles you, it makes your heart jump, first thing in the morning, put that down. Right before you're getting ready to go to bed, the thing that is nagging at you, that is going and repeating itself over and over again in your brain, and it won't shut the hell up, write it in your journal. Put it down there. Tell your brain, hey, look, I understand that you are freaking out about this, and this particular thing is a thing to freak out about. It is definitely a difficult situation. However, I know, brain, that you can handle it. So I'm writing it down right here, and you work on it while I'm asleep, because I can't stay up and keep worrying about this. I gotta get some rest. I gotta let my brain shut down for a little while. But unconscious, you feel free to work on this particular problem all night, and you let me know in the morning if you have a solution for it. Okay? A lot of the time, it will work. Your brain will be like, okay, and let you sleep. Okay? If you've been having trouble sleeping after this trauma has happened to you, that's a great way to go about it. This is my journal right here. She's getting a little worn now. I just want a new journal now, but I like this one. This one's been holding me steady for a good little while now. Let's see. When you're doing your journaling, I need you to do your date, your time, your level of anxiety. Your date and time need to go at the beginning so that you know when things are happening. If you're writing like in between those times, first thing in the morning and in the evening, you need to know what dates and times those things are happening, because they may be part of a pattern. They may be a trigger that you just didn't see until you actually wrote it down. And then there is the level of anxiety. Level of anxiety is going to be 0 to 10. Zero is no anxiety whatsoever. You are great. All is right with the world. Write that down. You want to remember that because your brain will tell you that nothing is ever right. Your life is always miserable. No, it has never been a good day after you've had this trauma. So if you write that down, that yes, I did have a good day, then your brain can't come back and lie to you about it later because it will. It will lie. All right. Then we've got a 10. A 10 is an absolute loss of control. 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. It is a loss of all control. You don't care if your hair is ripped out. You don't care if you're naked running down the street screaming. You just are out of control of yourself. Now, if you're sitting down with your journal, chances are you're not out of control with yourself. So you shouldn't write down a 10. But if you are just out of control, you're yelling, you're screaming, you're losing your voice, you're throwing things, things are breaking, the police are involved. Okay, yeah, that was a 10. But if it's less than that, it is not a 10. Don't write 10. Make sure that you have a very realistic fence around these feelings. You know that it could be wonderful or it could be a complete loss of control. That is as far as it goes. It can't get any bigger than that. It cannot swallow you. It is only going to be as big as 10. 10 is absolutely losing my mind, totally lost it. So at that point, you can't be afraid that it's going to get any worse than that. Your brain can't tell you that, oh, it's going to get so much worse than this. I'm already at a loss of control. All right, it's as bad as it's going to get. It can't get any worse than this. That will help you to measure these feelings so that they don't overwhelm you. So you don't feel like, oh, these feelings are just steamrolling me. These feelings get very big when you've been through a trauma, but that does not necessarily mean that they're going to hurt you again. So we've got to get a little perspective on how bad it actually is. Okay. Let's see. Third thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together, I need you to develop an attitude of gratitude. Can you do that for me? I need you to work on that, okay? I want you to really consider that every single day, trying to be as grateful as you possibly can. All right. And the thing about being grateful is if you practice it enough, your brain will tell you things to be grateful for without you even asking. And that is a delightful thing. It is one of those things that make every day more and more delightful because your brain will be seeking these things to give to you if you practice it enough. Okay. So I want you to do that. I want you to practice doing this every day, writing down at least one to two things that you're like, you know what, I am really grateful for that thing in my life today. If you do this every day, one or two things, and you come back in 6 weeks, there is so much listed that you could be grateful for. And sometimes it'll be repeated, but so what? Because isn't that wonderful that you felt grateful for it twice in a row? Great, wonderful. It changes the way your brain works. If you have been traumatized, a lot of the time we are dealing with grief. If we want to get out of grief about things that we have lost, then we have to have some gratitude for the things that we do still have. When we focus on the things that we have, we focus on being grateful, things go better. Things just do. They just go better. And your brain starts to tell you things that you can be grateful for every single day. All right. So Kendra told me today that she's grateful for the ability to wake up with a new chance to improve herself. Every day is a brand new day. Every day is another chance. I may not have done my best yesterday, but I got the opportunity to do my best today. I am awake, I'm alert, the sun is out. I have the ability to change today. Isn't that a beautiful thing? I just absolutely love that Kendra told me that today. And she also said that that her honey is being a little bit more comfortable about opening up about what has happened. He's, talking a little bit more. All beautiful things to be really, really happy about, grateful that they're in your life. Changes that you wanted are a beautiful thing to be grateful for. All right. Let's see. I saw Charmaine. Charmaine she said, I'm grateful to have some lovely weather here now, finally, consistently in the double digits. She's up in Canada. it's been cold. It's not been super warm and super nice, but it is June and it's feeling good, apparently. I am happy for you. We've had weird weather down here. I live in Virginia and it has been odd. It was a very cold winter for here. It snowed a couple of times and it doesn't usually do that. And then it took like forever for it to really start getting warm. And usually like it gets hot in like March, April, May, and like then it's really rainy April and May, like just flooding everything for a good little while and hot. And then it's like we're going to the summer and it's still humid, but it's not a lot of rain. It's just hot. And we haven't gotten to that part of the summer yet. And I'm worried about that. I'm like, Lord, I hope it's not a longer summer just because it hadn't quite gotten to summer yet. Probably will be, but that's all right. I try and just, love Virginia in the summer. Um, who was it? Pharrell said summertime in Virginia is an oven, and it really is. You can cook out there. But I'm glad, Shermie, that you've got a little bit better weather. You're feeling good. You can get outside. All right, fabulous. If anybody else got anything that they'd like to share, any other Thirsty Thursday, anything positive that you're grateful for, put it in the comments. I'll shout you out, okay? All right. Last thing that I always tell you every time we get together, I need you with all my heart. I swear I need this. I need you to stop asking all those damn questions. I I know you want to ask all the questions. I know that all the experts out there tell you that full transparency is the only way that you can ever move on. You can never even make the decision to go ahead and forgive this person unless you know every single solitary detail. That is not true. You do not have to wait on every detail of this story, every question to be answered, to know the whole thing. You do not have to wait on that to be able to forgive. That is absolutely untrue. You can make up your mind because, again, first step of the dreams formula, decide. You make up your mind. All right. When you are saying, oh, I won't be able to make that decision until I know all of the details, that's giving away power. Okay. I understand that it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm taking my power back. I'm demanding answers. But you are making your next steps dependent upon what they say. In a time where you're already traumatized, you're giving up all the power about what happens next depending on what they say to you. Insanity. We're not doing that. No, we cannot do that because you're not going to know if they're telling you all the truth anyway. You're not going to know that. How could you? How could you possibly know? They could tell you everything that they feel is the truth. But again, I always tell people, especially when I'm doing couples, if I'm ever doing couples therapy, I'm like, hey, there is your side, there is their side, and then there's the truth. Okay. You are not going to get what you believe is the truth from somebody else's brain. They don't see things the exact same way you do. People's perspective is changed by being in their brains. Inside my brain is different from inside your brain. My perspective is different from your perspective. So, what you think might be the truth may not be the truth at all. And what they feel like is the truth may be very close, but not actually true at all. So, either way you're looking at it, you asking these questions is digging deeper into the pain. You are telling this person that I consider you to be a threat and I need to find out as much as possible about the threat before I can move forward. If we erase that, if we say, no, I do not consider this person to be a threat and I'm moving forward, and make that be the basis of what you're doing, and then start to fill in some of the details, that works a whole lot better. You've already made up your mind, you know what you want to do. If there is something in your brain where you're like, oh, this particular thing would just be a deal breaker, and if he tells me that this is the thing that happened, then I wouldn't want to be with him anymore. You will find that out eventually, but I am here to argue that maybe it wasn't actually a deal breaker. You will think that it is later on as you're healing, as you're going through it. You're like, oh, this detail, if this detail is this detail, then I'll never be able to heal from this. You can say that, but a lot of the time people think something is a deal breaker and it actually isn't. So if you keep on telling yourself that it is, you might confuse yourself in the long run. So all the way around, you really don't need all the answers to these questions. They're not going to help you. You are quite capable of making this decision without all that, without all the extra stuff that could hurt you more, to make you more scared, to make you more closed off. You, as you are right now, is this where you want to be? If it is, you move forward like it's where you want to be. Asking a whole bunch of questions about it is just reinforcing the trauma. It is reinforcing the trauma response of asking questions, because your brain does that when you are traumatized and wants to ask a whole bunch of questions about what it perceives as a threat. So if you keep doing that, you make that rut deeper and deeper in your brain. Your brain keeps on saying, well, I got to ask more questions to be able to heal. And so then you're constantly putting off your healing in favor of questions that are not for healing. They're to hurt you. They're to give you more ammunition against them. They are not to heal you. All right. So, all that being said, I do understand that it is a trauma response and that your brain is screaming to ask questions. So, instead of those questions, let's try and get something that will actually foster connection instead of the lies that your brain is telling, that, oh yes, if you ask these questions you'll feel connected to him, and that's not what they're for. All right, so if you really do want connection, you can try these. All right, this is the and THEAND. All right, see that? And this is from the good people at the Skin Deep. And you can go onto Amazon, put in the and THEAND into the search. It will pop right up with their store. They've got a whole bunch of different cards, all right? A whole bunch of different relationship situations. I've got the long-term relationship one too. I started to say that. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Got a long-term relationship one as well. That one's pretty good as well for fostering a little bit of connection. There you go. That one's the black one. But instead of the questions that your brain is screaming, let's try a few of these. Okay. A couple of these will give you a good conversation and will make you feel like, I feel a little bit more connected. I understand you a little bit better. I'm not as afraid because I understand a little bit more. If you want to ask questions, that should be the purpose. Okay. So, first question is, what are you afraid to ask me? All right. Wouldn't you like to know that if he's afraid to ask you something, wouldn't you like to know that? And what are you afraid to ask him? What are you afraid that you're like, oh, I don't really want to know the answer to that question. There, even when you're dealing with the trauma response of asking a whole bunch of questions, there's still questions that you don't really want the answer to, right? So, what are you afraid to ask me? Wouldn't that be better to know than what positions they have sex in? I think so. The next one says, where would you like to see our relationship 5 years from now? That's an excellent one for both of you. As you are trying to heal this, you need to have a vision about what healed looks like. Okay. So this is an excellent one for that. Where would you like to see our relationship 5 years from now? Where would you like to see it? What would be happening in 5 years if you had your pick? If I could wave a magic wand over your situation and it be exactly the way you want it to be in 5 years, what would it be? How would you feel? How would you behave? What would be going on between the two of you? If you can get that vision in your head and start behaving like that person, that healed person that is happy and doing well, start behaving like they would behave, you will get to that future. Okay. So where would you like to see our relationship 5 years from now? And one more. If you could go back to the first time we met, what would you tell me about our relationship? My husband tells me all the time he wishes that he could, because he lived in New Jersey, but he came to Virginia a whole bunch. And we just never interacted. We were in like the same neighborhoods, knew some of the same people, but he was a little older, so we didn't have that interaction. And so he was like, I wish I could go back in time and catch you at like 16, 17 and let you know that I was coming for you. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But if you could go back to the first time we met, what would you tell me about our relationship? Honestly, if myself came back to then, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know already. Because the first time I ever like laid eyes on him, I'd been talking to him on the phone for some weeks before we actually met in person. Like I actually saw what he looked like. We didn't have camera phone. So the first time that I saw what he looked like, I was praying. I was like, please, please, God, please. He's so great. I love every minute of the conversation. I love everything we talk about. I love his brain. I love his voice. I think he's so cool. Oh, please let him be cute. And then I saw him and I was like, yeah, thank you. So if my soul pulled up at that point and was like, hey, I want to tell you something about this relationship, I'd be like, no, no, girl, it's all right. It's fine. I know. Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, I know. She couldn't even tell me that he cheated. I'd be like, well, whatever, it's fine. I was deeply into him. I'm still deeply into him. I still am. I just am. And if you find that person for yourself, why shouldn't you be? Why shouldn't you be crazy in love? Why shouldn't you go ahead and have that? Um, People think that it's foolishness, but I'm like, if you have somebody that you can feel like that about, isn't that what most people want? Isn't that what most people are looking for? That person that takes their breath away, the person that they'd be willing to forgive for such horrible things because you love them so much? I thought that's what we were looking for. So, I forgave myself for that a long time ago. If you can forgive yourself for just loving this person anyway, you will be a long way towards actually healing from this. Just accepting that, you know what? Heart is completely open to them. I love them, and I'm just gonna have to deal with loving them for the rest of my days. And if you can just go ahead and say that and just admit that to yourself, you're probably gonna be way better off healing. Okay. All right. See. Any questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, anything that you want to talk to me about, anything that is going on with you in your life, and you are stressed and you're like, what is the answer to this? How do I fix this? I got answers for you, okay? All right. And don't forget, put trigger in the comment if you want my trigger tracker. If you are ready to get organized about your triggers, if you're ready to just go ahead and say, okay, look, these triggers keep sneaking up on me. They keep running up and mugging me, hitting me in the back of the head, and turning my pockets out. I need something better than just letting them hit me. If you can go ahead and get my trigger tracker and start to track the triggers as they are happening, you are going to feel better. You are going to feel like you're in control, number one. You're going to be taking back control over what is going on inside your brain, inside your body. And number two, you're going to have a plan. You're going to have a plan for what you do when you get triggered. Voila. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Wouldn't you need that in your life right now? Instead of just going ahead and responding to the triggers. Because the trigger always wants you to go talk to him about it. Which is, that's so sweet that our brains want him to be the person to fix it. But chances are it's not going to be him to fix it. Chances are there is something that you needed that you could provide yourself that you would feel better. And going to him is just going to make you madder and make you want to argue. So you could go ahead and make up 5 steps that are exactly what you need to do all on your own to be able to handle this trigger. If none of those 5 things work and you're just like, I don't know what else to do, you can go to him and ask him for a hug. That's the very last thing. That's like the 6th thing. There's 5 things on the tracker. The 6th thing is go to him and ask for a hug. And other than that, we're not going to try. The whole 5 things we're going to try are going to be things that we can do to soothe ourselves, to calm ourselves, to see if there's a way that we can regulate and get back in control of ourselves instead of giving that power over to them. I understand that you feel like he should be the one to fix it. I get that. But giving that power over to him at a time where you are feeling pretty powerless is a lot. That is a lot to do to yourself. It is a kind of a scary, dangerous position to put yourself in, to just give over control of you feeling better to a person who made you feel bad in the first place, right? So if we can start getting ourselves together, getting back in control of our emotions on our own, And then only then going to him and maybe getting a hug and, saying, hey, I was triggered earlier, but I'm in control of it now. I'm all right. Letting him know that, yes, it does happen, but you are capable of getting through it without coming to him and arguing with him and telling him how terrible he was for what he did. If you can show him that, he's going to try his very best to keep you untriggered. He's going to try his very best to give you his best so that you do not get triggered in the first place, so you don't have to keep on doing that. And now it's going to happen anyway because the triggers are already there from this trauma, but you will notice that he is trying harder as you are trying to self-regulate. Okay? All right. Any questions? Let me know. Don't see any questions over there. Over here. Nope, not on any of my screens. So I will tell you the last thing that I always tell you every time we get together. I need you to be doing affirmation. Okay? If you don't have affirmations and you're like, I don't even know what to say, I don't know where to start with that, message me. Message me a heart. Message me a purple heart, and I will send you the link to get my daily affirmations. All right. It's $7. So it will give you affirmations for 60 days. You will have an affirmation in your email every single morning. Every morning you will have a designed email for healing, for moving forward, for getting past this trauma. You will have one in your email every single day for 60 days. It's only $7. So just message me a little purple heart if you're interested in getting those every single day for 2 months, being able to work on your affirmations. All right. If you don't want to do that, you could spend that $7 at Five Below or Etsy or wherever. It doesn't matter. These are not specifically for infidelity. All right. I've got specific affirmations that are addressing all of the things that you are going through, all of the negative thoughts that are going in your head. I've got affirmations dealing with every single one of those. So you can be doing the affirmations every day. And if you find ones that are just speaking to you, you can use those on a regular basis. However, it's all right. If you want to spend it on Etsy, you got a store you want to go to, fine. You can get a deck from Etsy, from Amazon. This came from Five Below. Just with a whole bunch of different affirmations on cards. All right. It doesn't matter how you do it, email or cards, as long as you're doing it every single day. We need to be saying good things about ourselves as these negative thoughts are coming into our brains. When we are traumatized, our brains think negatively automatically. And so they automatically think negative things about ourselves at the same time. So instead of just listening to the terrible thoughts that our brains are giving us, we are going to turn around and say affirmation. You're gonna look yourself in the eye first thing in the morning when you're getting up, you brushed your teeth, okay, your breath is smelling good. Look yourself right in the mirror and tell yourself your affirmations. Say it with authority. Say it like you mean it. Say it like it is the most true statement you have ever said in your entire life. Say it with that strength, and your brain will remember you saying it with that strength. So if you consistently remember, no, I am enough. I am more than enough for any man on this planet. He just made a mistake in thinking that I wasn't enough for a second. All right. You tell yourself the affirmation. You got it in your brain. Every time your brain says, you're not enough, though. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not thin enough. Whatever it's saying you're not enough of, you've got a recording of yourself telling yourself that you are indeed actually enough. If you can do this on a consistent basis, fall back on your affirmation, your brain will accept that no, we're not talking badly about ourselves. No, absolutely not. That is not what we are doing. I am believing the absolute best of myself. That is what we are doing. All right. So as you are going forward, feel free to hit me up. Put a little heart, a purple heart, if you would like to get a link to my 60 days of affirmations. But in the meantime, let me give you one for today. This says, today I am in charge. I love that. All right. Crown straight, being the queen that you are. All right. Today I am in control of how I feel. And now, what we're talking about, nobody can make me feel any other way than happy. That decision, remember what I told you? That is the main thing. You've got to decide who you want to be, how you want to be. And once you made up your mind and you stay on track with doing the actions of who you want to be and how you want to be, you will become that. All right. You will be in charge. You will be in control of how you feel. Other people will not be able to just drag your emotions whenever the hell they feel like it, because you will be in control of you. All right. Today I am in charge. Today I am in control of how I feel. Nobody can make me feel any other way than happy. I love that one. That's a perfect note to end on now, isn't it? So we are going to do a real quick review. I need you to be doing your deep breathing, your journaling, at least twice a day, your gratitude practice, looking for the things that you are grateful for every single day without fail. Write them down in your journal. You need to be doing letting go of the questions. Stop asking all those questions about the affair. It's just hurting you. It's more ammo against your healing. And do your affirmation. And more than anything, going back to that second step of the dreams formula, recognizing that fear, we've got to not do what the fear tells us to do. Okay. When you are dealing with this, the fear, the pain is going to rear up and it's going to say, you need to do this. And it's always like that too. It's very entitled, like, I am justified in doing this bad thing because you're bad to me. You will want to justify negative behavior. It will seem like the most positive thing in the world, but then you do it and you don't feel better after it. You do it, you do the thing that reared up in your chest, and the pain and the anger said, you'll feel better if you act entitled and you do this thing and you express your hurt in this way. And then you don't. Then it doesn't fix it. Then you feel like crap for doing something that was completely out of your character in the first place, that was only led to you because you were feeling so much pain and so much anger. We cannot be led by the pain and the fear. Okay? We cannot continue to listen to it and do what it says. That is always the path deeper into the woods. That is always the path to getting more and more lost. It will get darker. The woods will get deeper. You'll end up in the swamp. Okay? You will not get home going to do what the pain and the fear wants. You got to lean towards the love. Every opportunity you have, the love and just complete fearlessness, believing that you are making the right decision for yourself, because you are. You're not stupid. You're not naive. None of that. You very well know what you need for your life, and you absolutely should pursue it if that is clearly your desire. You should not stop yourself. You should not give yourself a hard time. You should go for the happy, loving, trusting, forgiving relationship that you want. This is the time. This is the opportunity to do that, is after you've been through this trauma and you have the opportunity to either forgive and move on or stay stuck and unforgiving. All right. So if you found the person for you, if you found that person that just inspires you to want to forgive them, do it. Absolutely do it. Trust yourself. Do not trust what the fear and the pain say. Trust what your love says and follow through. All right. I think that's about it for today. I don't see any questions. So I love you. And I am so, so proud of you for doing this, for knowing that you've been wounded, but still choosing love and forgiveness and happiness and trust and understanding and compassion. Like, we need more people in the world who are willing to do that. There are a lot of people that once they're hurt, those walls go up and they just never decide to forgive again, never decide to act right again. It is all downhill from there. And you are, instead of doing that in a situation where you've been so hurt, you have every right to act a fool, but you are still choosing love and forgiveness anyway. You're my type of people. Okay. You're the type of woman I want to be around. You're the type of woman I would like to make my friend. All right. So if you are interested in working with me, lots of different ways to do it. Put a purple heart for my trigger tracker. Put a little tree in the comments. If you need my dreams formula, how to heal and reconcile after infidelity, that's a totally free resource. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got for you. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. Make sure you message me if you're interested in working with me. If you need my email affirmations, you'd like that, go ahead and message me. I got you. Okay. All right, y'all. That's about it. Mwah. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I will be back again next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My birthday is Monday, too. So, if you want to just say happy birthday to me, feel free. And I will check you out again next Thursday and tell you how the birthday went. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next week. Bye. Bye, Instagram. And bye over here on Facebook and YouTube.